Deepak, Sonia and I are here next to this beautiful river, which is the wellspring of life and brings nourishment to so many. And the reason we're here, symbolically, I can't think of any human being on earth that does as much as you to provide that kind of sustenance from a moral and a spiritual and an intellectual level as you do. You are, for so many people, that river that brings so much wonderful things in life. And let me just say, hats off to you for having the idea that has led to the creation of certainly the most important thing I've ever been involved with, and has helped millions.
Well, Deepak, I've known you a long time. I love you. You know that. You're an amazing person, inside and out. I remember when you first brought up the Just Capital idea, and you said, do you think Paul would be interested? And I said, I think he would. I think he definitely would be. And you came for dinner. And Paul was spellbound by the idea that you and the Columbia students came up with. And I think you and Paul took that idea and made it flourish into something that's become such an amazing organization and has done so much good for so many. And we're honored to be your friends, and we're honored that you meditate enough to think of these incredible ideas, because it really does change the world.
We celebrate you, Mr. Chairman Emeritus. We celebrate your brilliant idea for founding the most impactful not-for-profit in the 21st century that's going to change the lives of millions, if not tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people in a great way. God bless you.
We love you, Deepak, and sending you so many more blessings, and hope to see you soon.
Your vision at the inception of Just Capital formed the foundation for the organization's growth and impact. Your commitment to Just mission to build an economy that works for us all has motivated all of our work. I feel so privileged to play a small role in the organization's continued growth and evolution. We all owe you a great debt of gratitude.
Deepak, this is Peter Georgescu, saluting you, my good friend, for being the brilliant visionary who way back when committed to protect democracy in America by having business become more just. It was a big deal back then. It's an even bigger deal today. So thank you, Deepak, for all you have done for Just Capital and all you're doing for America. Congratulations.
Deepak, thanks for your leadership, especially in the early days of Just Capital. Your insight, your communication skills, and your gravitas have all helped to make Just the force for good that it is today. So we sincerely appreciate all that you've done.
It is such a pleasure and an honor to be on this journey with Deepak as he imagines not only what's good for us, but what he's good for all. And it is a joy to be working with him day in and day out, because his ideas always become true. So my friend Deepak, I just want to say thank you on behalf of Just Capital and the movement that's around us, and all the impact that we've had and that we will have, that the best is yet to come.
Congratulations, Deepak, on becoming Chairman Emeritus, an honor incredibly well deserved.
Deepak is known the world over for thinking about compassion, for thinking about caring, and adding his personal wisdom and brand and insight to this effort has been invaluable. And even though he is now the Chairman Emeritus, in my mind, the spirit of his thoughts, compassion, caring would remain with us.
I'm Mark Morial. I lead the National Urban League. Deepak, thank you for your great service to Just Capital. And I'm also honored to be a part of the group of all of us that now will refer to you as Mr. Chairman Emeritus. A very important distinction to recognize your work in so many ways. So Just Capital being just one way to build a more equitable, a more fair, and a more just economy and society for each and every one. I also want you to know how much your life and your work is a role model for so many of us. We've observed it, we've watched it, and we continue to emulate that powerful spirit that you bring. Mr. Chairman Emeritus, thank you for your service.
Hi Deepak, it's Paul. Congratulations to you. Thank you for your wisdom and your vision. I remember the early days of Just with your ideas, and thanks to the Just team, the entire team at Just Capital for making it a reality. Deepak, once again, congratulations, and to the entire Just Capital team, thank you all for serving such an important role.
Deepak, congratulations for this so well-deserved honor. It's a reflection of what you've meant to Just Capital and all of us who care so deeply about these issues. Since we all came together to found Just Capital, you've been the spiritual center of this movement. And now, Just Capital's mission of creating a world in which business reflects our values and our need to be a part of something larger than ourselves has truly met the moment. I continue to learn so much from you every day, and I can't wait to see what we can do in the future with you as Chairman Emeritus.
Thank you, Deepak, for founding such an impactful organization. As a member of Just Capital's Just Gen network, myself, along with the other members, are honored and inspired to carry your mission forward for the next generation of business leaders. Thank you again, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deepak.
Thank you, Deepak.
Thank you, Deepak.
Wow. Wow. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Martin Whittaker. I'm the CEO of Just Capital, and what a privilege and honor I have to talk in a few moments to Deepak just about the beginning of Just Capital, where we've come, what we've learned on that journey. It's such an amazing thing to be able to name Deepak as our first Chairman Emeritus. So well deserved. I can tell you, working with him is a real gift, and it's thanks to him that Just Capital is here. It's true. It was way back in classroom at Columbia Business School that just got its start. That's where the idea sparked. And it's so fitting, I think, that we not only name Deepak as Chairman Emeritus, but also tonight launched the Deepak Chopra Scholars Fund, which is incredibly important. We're trying to raise $100,000 to essentially fund an intern program that is so crucial to Just Capital. Our interns are massively important for us, and we couldn't think of a better way to honor Deepak and pay tribute to him by launching this fund and having that really be a legacy that will then benefit many, many students going forward and come to work at Just and hopefully launch their careers in the impact and the purpose space. So really, really proud of that and pleased with that. I'm very happy to tell you that we've raised so far just over $76,000 of that $100,000. I want to thank each and every one of you who's donated. Tonight, every dollar that gets donated over the course of this event and subsequently will be matched dollar for dollar by the Just Capital Board, which is incredibly generous and very powerful statement of support. So please give in honor of this this fund, this purpose, and also the amazing Deepak Chopra. So with that, without further ado, I want to invite Deepak to join me on stage. Deepak, there you are. How are you, sir? It's great to see you.
Very well, thank you. That was an amazing tribute, and I'm grateful, moved, honored, and privileged.
Well, it's so great to be able to pay tribute to you, quite honestly. And I think you felt there and saw there just how heartfelt everyone's sentiments really were. Take us back to the beginning, if you don't mind. Where did this idea come from? What was happening in the world, and what sort of, where were you at that something like this sort of landed with you and you felt like this was something you wanted to pursue?
Well, Martin, it's a long story, but I've been teaching a course at Kellogg for many years, and then I taught the same course at Harvard, and it was called The Soul of Leadership. How do people lead from the level of the soul, the true self, not from the ego identity? That became the basis of a course I was doing at Columbia Business School, and you actually spoke to that group. And that course was called Just Capital and Cause-Driven Marketing. So, when you go to business school, the first day you learn that the purpose of a business is to improve stakeholder value or stockholder value. And I thought to myself, no, the purpose of a business should be to improve the quality of life on this planet, to maybe work towards a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world. And in my kind of discussions, it became obvious to me that if you take care of your employees are happy, then your customers are going to be happy. And if your customers are happy, your investors are going to be happy. And that's going to be a good business. So even if you don't focus on the money, you focus on who works with you, for you. And if your intention is to improve the world, that should be the real purpose of a business. So I wanted to alter the first statement of the reason why business exists. Business is the most powerful tool to help elevate every human being, to eradicate poverty, to bring peace, to bring about sustainability and health, and most importantly, joy. So I had been teaching this course for almost a decade before one of my students said, it should be Just Capital should be on Wall Street. It should be competing with the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, or whatever. And so that day, I happened to be at Paul's home, and Sonia was there. We were doing a meditation together, and I said, I mentioned to Paul this idea from a student, and Paul immediately said, "Let's do it." I mean, it was just amazing to me that he took it to heart in 1 minute. And today we have this amazing story.
It is an amazing story, and I think it's an idea that came together very quickly, and you managed to pull together, as you just seen from the video there, an incredible group of people who got behind that. Talk us through those early days. Was that something that you were able to, like, it came together naturally? Did that feel like it was work to do that, or did it just feel like this was meant to be?
Martin, I've always believed that if you're doing the right thing for the right reason, I always ask myself 3 questions. Is this going to be fun? Number 1. Number 2, are the people I hang out with going to be fun to be with? And number 3, is it going to improve the world? And if the answer is yes to all 3, then let's do it. And so that was the attitude, and everything happened spontaneously after that.
I love that, and I think we've certainly tried to, as we've built Just Capital, make it a great place to be as well. And I think I can't remember who said on the video, but your spiritual center, I think, has been a key part of our DNA right from the beginning. Now, back to this issue of finance and capital. I know you have a book coming out in March, right?
Yes.
When you were talking to me about that, you gave a quote from Bob Marley. Can you give that quote? I think it's brilliant, and I think talk a little bit about that, about personal finance and also the capital element of building a just society.
So the quote from Bob Marley is, some people are so poor, all they have is money. And I took that to heart because I know a lot of people whose identity depends on how much money they have in the bank. They don't know the difference between self-worth and net worth. It's like confusing yourself for your selfie. You sacrifice yourself for your net worth. And that inspired the book, which is actually now called Abundance, the Inner Path to Wealth. And it takes us through all the levels of needs that we have, more even beyond Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So everyone needs social security. Everyone needs shelter. Everyone needs achievement. Everyone needs love and belongingness. Everyone needs creative expression. And then beyond that, we all have insight, intuition, imagination, higher vision, a higher cause, and transcendence. So abundance is available to us at all these levels. So that was my insight into writing the book. I've also done a lot of work on what we call total well being. So, when you look at total well being, there is corporate well being or business well being, there's social well being, there's physical well being, there's community well being, and there's financial well being. And all are inseparable. If you don't have financial security, you're going to get stressed. It's going to affect your health. So I ask people every day, I ask people on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about friends and family? And if they say 8, 9, or 10, they're thriving. If they say 5 or 6, they're struggling some aspect in their relationships. And if they say less than 5, they're suffering, and they probably have a chronic illness already. They have inflammation, anxiety, and depression, which is the preceder of every chronic disease, except for 5% of genetic mutations, which are fully penetrant. But other than that, 95% of even gene mutations associated with disease are genetically modifiable. If you ask somebody a simple question on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your energy? Do you have all the energy to do everything you want every day? And somebody says 8, 9, 10, intuitively, they're thriving. If it's 6, 7, they're struggling some area of their life. And if they say less than 5, they probably already have a chronic illness. This is data from Gallup, where I'm also a senior advisor on their scientific data on well-being. So when it comes to finances, irrespective of whatever I've said just now, if you ask the people what they worry about the most in their life, it's financial security. Not at the money they have, because you can have all the money you have and still you're financially secure. And the same criteria are there. If they say 8, 9, and 10, I'm financially secure, they're thriving, and it will affect every area of their life. If they say 6 or 7, something is wrong. Maybe they're not getting enough sleep, or they have a marital discord, or something is happening, but something is happening. And if they score less than 5, then they're suffering, and they have a disease or inflammation or anxiety or depression. So what creates financial security? It's a very complicated thing, but the most important thing is if an employee feels that they're rewarded adequately for their work, if their strengths are noticed, if the leader or the team leader in the corporation ignores their employees, their rate of disengagement goes up to about 40%. If they criticize them, then it falls to 20%. You'd rather be criticized than ignored, but now you exist. Ignored means you're not relevant. But if you notice a single strength in your employee, single strength, and honestly express it, you're good at such and such, the rate of disengagement goes down to less than 1%. So if you want your employees to be happy, then as a leader, it's your responsibility to have shared vision, emotional and spiritual bonding, and complementing everyone's strength. That's a good team. And maximum diversity also, ethnic diversity, gender diversity, all of that. But beyond that, the employee has to feel secure. There's insurance, there's disability, there's retirement. And then, interestingly enough, one other thing that crops up repeatedly in financial security is how do you spend your money? Do you spend your money only on product? You buy a new iPhone every 6 months and then you get bored. You buy a new jet or a yacht. After 1 year, you get bored. But if you spend your money on worthy causes, if you spend money on experiences, looking forward to an experience, even a vacation with your friends and family, or an event like this, if you spend money, if you donate here, you feel good about it, and that increases your financial security. So there's a lot of information on this, and it's, in my mind, a tragedy that we don't focus on people's financial security. which is related to overall total well-being. I could go on and on about this and the data around this, but the one thing that concerns most people, irrespective of everything, is financial security. And it's easy to give financial security to people when you reward them for their efforts, when you acknowledge their strengths, when they become a part of a team that acknowledges their strengths. But like a good soccer team, everybody is complementing each other's strengths. Everybody has shared vision and everybody is emotionally connected. It's not rocket science, but we need to start these things in the corporate world. The soul of leadership in the corporate world. That's an education program that Just Capital could take up.
Well, I gotta believe that over the last 18 months, everything you just said just became way more important as well. You look at what's happened with the pandemic, with a racial reckoning, with an economic, dislocation and recovery, and just all of those things you just described, and people's personal financial situations, really, and their whole lives turned upside down. So, I think what seems to me to be happening in the world is everything that you stand for, everything you've just described, everything that is sort of important to how people lead their lives is getting more important, not less. Have you seen that over the last 18 months or 2 years?
Absolutely. Also one very interesting thing over the last 18 months we've seen is when we returned to our homes and we were kind of in lockdown, returning to our cages, the ecosystem started to repair itself. Birds were there. In Hyderabad in the morning, you could see the Himalayas from 500 miles away. Fish were returning to their even dead lakes in Venice. So nature was celebrating. And part of our social justice and economic justice is take responsibility for our biological sustainability, which is directly connected to the sustainability of the planet. And so everything that we are doing now, and Just Capital is doing, and I would encourage people to donate, not because of guilt or conscience. It'll make them feel better. The fastest way to be happy is to make somebody else happy. And if it's linked to a cause, you'll be a happy person. In fact, there's, again, a lot of social science on what makes people happy.
Well, thank you. And I'm very happy I can give you an update. We're now at 87,000 out of our 100,000. So even just in that short period of time, people have been giving. Thank you so much to everybody. It doesn't matter if it's $1 or $10. It's all going towards the mission. One last question for you, Deepak. Are you hopeful? Are you optimistic about the future?
Martin, I'm realistic. Hope implies despair. And so if we are centered in awareness, if we have a vision, again, there's a science called emergence, which says if you have maximum diversity, if you have shared vision, if you have transparency, if you have an open system where everybody can donate and participate and feel acknowledged, you'll bring about transformation. So the answer is being realistic tells us that there is hope. Everything we talked about, social injustice, economic injustice, war, terrorism, even climate change, is reversible. We have the science, but we don't have a good story. People don't listen to facts. How many people are listening to facts about vaccination? But we have a good story combined with the facts, you can transform the world. And Just Capital is doing that. In that sense, I'm hopeful.
Well, that's good, and I think one of the things that gives me hope, of course, is the business leaders of the future, the very people who are in your classroom. There are so many folks coming out of educational establishments and business schools who are sort of embracing the sense of purpose and values within their business and their financial careers. And those two things used to be very, very hard to reconcile, and now. I think it's the path to actually, greater fulfillment. So it's great to see. And I want to introduce now actually someone who is a great example of that. She's a former Just intern. She's now a Just employee, a junior analyst working on our research team. And her name is Alex Radova. And Alex, I want you to come on stage now because you are an example, exactly what we're talking about. And obviously, I love working with you, and I'm grateful for everything you do for Just Capital. But I'm glad you can join us. And it's, as I said, it's very fitting that the Scholars Fund is targeted towards interns, because that's exactly how we met you and how you were able to get your first introduction to Just Capital. So welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Martin, and thank you for this opportunity. Honestly, it's such a pleasure to be here. And Deepak, thank you for just giving us this opportunity. And I'm happy to be here to celebrate you. And of course, the launch of the Deepak Chopra Scholars Fund.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and your interest in learning, like how business can be a force for good.
Sure. I'm originally from Bulgaria, and I actually came to the United States just about 5 years ago at this point to pursue my education. So when I graduated from Hofstra University in December 2019 with degrees in political science and global studies, I was really looking for just a practical opportunity for me to apply everything that I've learned in my time at Hofstra and really just like apply it to the real world. And I came across Just, and honestly, the internship was just such a great opportunity. It aligned with my interests perfectly because during my undergraduate studies, I really focused on issues of globalization, how corporations are involved in people's everyday life, obviously their increasing impact that we're observing literally in every aspect of our life. There was a lot of classes that I took in economic justice, of course, labor issues, which is what led me to join the research team with the workers and wages team. So really, it was just very fitting, and Just was just like a great opportunity to really take everything that I've learned a step further and see how it's applicable to the real life and business.
And talk just a little bit about the work that you do as well at Just, the research. Give people a sense of what that actually looks like and feels like.
For sure. So as I mentioned, I'm part of the Workers and Wages team. So basically, this is one of the 5 stakeholders that we at Just have in the research team. And a lot of my day-to-day work obviously is focused on the production of the rankings. But apart from that, there's a lot of programmatic work that goes on a daily basis that I'm involved in. And as an intern, the projects that I was involved with were a bit different than what I'm doing right now as a junior analyst. But to be honest with you, even as an intern, I felt so involved in what the organization is doing. And I felt like I'm contributing to the real work that is happening on the ground. It wasn't just like a meaningless task that I was assigned as an intern. No, I was very much part of the team, or at least that's how I felt personally based on my experience. And I saw how my everyday work contributed to the overall mission of the organization and everything that we try to achieve. And one interesting thing that I'm really grateful for, quite frankly, is that even as an intern, though I was focusing mainly on the rankings production, I had the opportunity to expand my interests. For example, I was looking into paid sick leave issues, and then I was able to produce research based on that and get it published on the Just blog. And comparing the experience as a Just intern to any other internships that I've done in the past, and also to my peers, and hearing from what they're doing, really unique experience, because as I mentioned, it's not just like a task that's not really part of what the rest of the staff is doing, but you're very much involved. And I learned so much that I'm applying right now in the classroom again, because I'm back in school, and it's just been a great opportunity.
That's great. And I can tell you and everyone that listens to this or watches this, the intern program is so crucial, right, Alex, to like how we work. Like we can't get done what we need to do without that team. So I just want to acknowledge that, and I think it's really important that be recognized. Deepak, you are a wonderful educator. coming up to speak to your class is both a great learning experience for me, but also very, very scary because there's so many great questions get asked for which I don't have any answers, but it was always a lot of fun. Maybe, I don't know if you have a question for Alex or if you have a message for anyone who's listening who's sort of just at the beginning of their career.
I ask people to quiet their mind, put their awareness in their heart, ask 4 questions. Who am I? What do I really want? What's my calling? And what am I grateful for? You don't need to answer those questions. You need to live those questions. And if you do, you will be a just capitalist.
Yeah, Deepak, that's like a really great perspective. And quite frankly, I feel like I do live that because my experience at Just has been so formational. And really, it gave the impetus for what I'm doing right now. I come from a background of political science and global studies. And then after I completed the internship with Just Capital for 12 weeks, I was so inspired by the mission of the company, but also I felt so enriched by everything that I learned. It was first time for me being exposed to ESG and the investment aspect of it. I learned a lot on the quant side of things because I come from a very qualitative research background. So really, my perspective was just changed and I learned so much, which is why I really wanted to stay with the organization after my internship was completed. And I'm very grateful that Just Capital was able to accommodate that in the middle of a pandemic. So truly a great experience so far. And I am now pursuing an MBA in business analytics. And this is to a large extent thanks to Just and my experience there and everything that I've been exposed to. So I am living what I am doing. And it's just been a great experience.
Great. Well, thank you, Alex. That's wonderful. And I would submit that what you just said, Deepak, are questions that we should all ask of ourselves on a regular basis. I think that's a generally very healthy thing to consider on a routine level. Okay, well, look, I've got a good update, and we are now at just over 95,000 towards our goal of 100,000. So we are almost there. I think you can see that up on screen. There's still time if you haven't made a gift yet. If you want to make a gift, as I said, it doesn't matter what size. Thank you so much to all of those who have contributed, and we're going to keep that going for the rest of this event and then also later on tonight. So please support us if you can. Okay, wonderful. So now we have a really special treat. We are totally and utterly thrilled to have pianist, composer, and activist, philanthropist, Chloe Flower, who's going to be joining us tonight from New York City. Now, Deepak, I know you and Chloe are great friends. I know you've done events together in the past. So really excited that she's here together with us. And right now I'm going to hand it straight over to Chloe.
Congratulations, Deepak, on becoming named Chairman Emeritus of Just Capital, and thank you for all of the work you've done to create a more just world. Please show your support to Deepak and Just Capital by making a gift to the Deepak Chopra Scholars Fund today. much. I love you, Deepak, and I love you, Just Capital.
Wow, what a great moment. What a beautiful time to just reflect about what's important. I think it's a great way to think about what you've said and how we adjust, can grow into the future and hopefully keep that message and spread that message as far and as wide as we can. What does the future hold for you, Deepak? Where do you go from here?
I'm going to focus on what I just said. I'm focusing on right now suicide prevention in the world, the second most common cause of death among teenagers, mental well-being, and a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world. That's my life mission, and that's what I will do.
Well, I'm grateful for everything you've done for Just Capital. It's been great getting to know you. Great working with you. You've always been there right from day one. And you're such a positive source of energy. So thank you for that. I know that we're going to stay in close touch. You are, after all, our first chairman emeritus. Are you the chairman emeritus of anything else? Are we the
No,
only?
Okay. I'm not chairman or chairman emeritus of any other.
Well, everybody knows Paul Jones is our chair, but you are our first chair, and people don't always remember that or know that. But I will, and I'm just really grateful for the chance to continue that relationship. We will continue to do you proud. I know that everybody that was on the video and all the other board members and the team members who you've inspired, we will do you proud, and thank you again. And look forward to keeping you up to date on our Scholars Fund, which I can tell you is now over $100,000. So thank you so much to everybody who's contributed to that. Thank you to Chloe Flower, amazing, and Deepak. I want to you had the first word on Just, so I want to give you the last word.
Well, I think that Just Capital, the nonprofit, is a perfect example of the soul of leadership, and that's what the corporate world needs: leadership from the soul. So
thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. Good night.
Good night.